Hello. This is another video from Pixie, and some interesting stuff actually. Quite relevant is to anybody sort of studying, I guess, alternative stuff. Yeah, I was watching the Orville, and so if you haven't watched it, it's worth watching it, and it does get better with different episodes. If you do like Star Trek, that kind of sci-fi stuff, it's going to be for you. I mean, obviously you don't like stuff. If you don't like sci-fi or Star Trek, then it's going to be less appealing. It's got different types of humour to it as well. Anyway, so episode 6 has well, these beings, basically you have an encounter with these beings called the Krill, which also could be from the Vril as well, like the Vril Society. Now, I saw this interesting comparison, is that most likely, letting people go. Yeah, so basically the connection what most people are missing is that the actual race have a connection to what we call on Earth is the reptilians and the inner Earth groups. Basically shows the race as actually not being able to handle the sunlight. The sunlight would kill them, so it kind of hits on that folklore of vampires as well. So they can't deal with ultraviolet light, and it also would explain why, if they drunk from a pineal and sort of like spinal fluid, because basically we sort of, that's that energy we get from the sun, we convert into our body. That's used for sort of our brain chemistry. For them, it's they don't produce that much, so it's like a massive hit for them. You know, the same way that our body can produce powerful drugs anyway, like the dopamine and stuff like that. It's not actually things like heroin that are causing massive highs, it's actually our bodies. And if we can tap into that resource, then you can basically sort of deal with most sort of pain and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a strong reptilian connection there. They even make, and this is for episode 6 of the Orville, they even make reference to using holographic technology to disguise, but the crew disguises themselves as reptilians rather than the reptilians disguise themselves as humans, which sort of people may notice or may not. It's especially if they're into sort of the David Icke stuff, and they definitely should be connecting the dots there. There's a lot of things, there's usually hidden knowledge, or things actually when writers produce things, because everyone's a channeler, and I've mentioned we saw channel life, and as well as ourselves, it's our sort of ancestral knowledge and all these sorts of other connections that make us who we are. And even sort of Seth MacFarlane, Seth is quite an old name to use. We reference to something a bit more spiritual about him that he's not fully aware of. And if you look at his face as well, he looks different, if that makes sense. It just looks like, you know, maybe possibly he's got some hybridization of some kind. You know, just seems like he's got quite a round face, and seems to be very intelligent as well. So yeah, and then they make reference to their strong cult religion and being some form of death cult, and how they see themselves as superior, yet when it comes to sort of being hit by ultraviolet light, it totally killed them. And it also makes sense as well that about things, you know, there's always concern about with ETs and nuclear weapons and us not blowing up the world. It's not just that, it's that if you dropped a nuclear weapon into an area where a creature basically is vulnerable to ultraviolet light and that type of energy, yeah, it would fry, but obviously it would just vaporise humans anyway. But outside of that, it fires out bloody X-rays and other things. It would have major destruction. There's probably no way they could protect themselves at all, because they don't have any shielding from the sun in the same way. So there's no, even if it's like a flash, the flash of it would kill them before the actual radiation would meet, because there's probably a spectrum of energy that hits. So yeah, that was something I just was noticing today. I was watching the series, and how sort of a serious note, it also touches with upon also reptilian culture has mingled into our culture. And I mentioned about Islam had some, I think it had some influences. It's just, I think, for an angel to meet Muhammad in a cave, and some people might question what that means. This prophet, was it one prophet? Was it an influence of a group of them or whatever? That doesn't really matter. I'm not going to sort of pick apart things, but it was just that reference, the strong connection to the moon, and the connection to a being that actually gave him enlightened knowledge but lived in a cave. I'd have to actually go through the Quran. I only looked at some of it, and I mean, it's like most religious books, so kind of my body rejects the dogma, and it's like, nah, you don't want to read all that. But if I look with a fresh set of eyes, and maybe I can pick away the dogma out of it, and look a little deeper into sort of like like a reptilian subculture that was in there. It may have been there before the Quran turned up and Islam, because there was culture before, but it's also built on the past, like originally it was Babylon, and some of their laws and beliefs and so on were shaped in their society. So yeah, because I think that's what I've heard from some of these tribal people that said that in the past the place was a lot worse. It was more warlike, so that's why it may be a reference to a book of peace, but it depends on the person who's actually interpreting that. Somebody can take the lessons of the past and use them as the wars of the future, basically. Or they can turn around and say, well, we don't ever want to do that again, and use them as examples to be ambassadors for peace. That's entirely up to that person, and it's the same for anything. Like like even you've got like the Book of War, and you can use that as a guide for business, so you can fight on that land at that sort of level, or sport or whatever. But you could also use it for military gain, political gain. I don't think there's really applied values. So yeah, and I mean, all religions got their own sort of sides, and I'm not sort of making any comparison here. I'm just sort of looking at these things with my eyes as an outsider, and I wouldn't want people to think that sort of like like they go on about Star Trek Discovery, and the Klingons are they may be Trump supporters and all these other things, or maybe they're ISIS or all sorts of other stuff like that. And I'm sure there is sort of like undertones of different things, political influences, people that pay towards the show, or people that actually influence the writers, and so that's their take on it. But all it'll do is, if you over politicise a show, it just makes it less interesting, because you don't want to hear about the same stuff over and over again every day. Jokes about this, jokes about that. So yeah, anything else to see? I was also thinking about synchronicities and manifestation. I was asked about and things like that. I think you can feel when something good's going to happen. Sometimes it's bang on, like I've had it where I was in a queue, and I know my lucky number's 7, because that's always been a part of my life, and then I've gone in there and there's been like Super 7 scratch cards, and I sort of felt, you know what, I'm going to win, and I just got one, and then got 50 quid on it. But my intention wasn't really to win, it's just that I went with the feeling of that this will produce something, an outcome. And if you want to manifest things, you've got to look for things that won't cause any conflicts of karma. So, 50 zones, sometimes I've got up to 50. So yeah, just like if something hasn't been found before, or no one's using this resource or whatever, or maybe it's just, you know, basically the Almighty itself has played a part in your life in some way, giving you access to knowledge or something. Then it's up to you to take that and channel it. There is no easy answers in this life. It's all about the experiences, and I mean, other things you can do. Summon is, you might develop certain powers anyway if you take Ormus and play around crystals, meditate, and get in contact with guides. Summon is sometimes if I know people, I think about them and they turn up. Sometimes they're kind of like, I feel, you know, they pop in my head and then they're around the corner, so it's like I sense them. This isn't always a good skill, because sometimes I've summoned up people I don't like, actually. I thought, well, bloody hell, I was thinking about him early on, and now there he is. You know, I don't end up in a fight because I thought about somebody, which is a bit nuts. So that's one level, and synchronicity is kind of just like, it's like a reminder of the Matrix, and that your consciousness is projected or is a part of it into some deeper depths. But I don't try to overwield these powers. I try to understand them. That's really what it's about. There might be a time when I actually really need it, like save my life or something. Yeah. Actually, I've had a few occasions where I could have died. And that was quite interesting. Like, I did some amazing stunt on a bike. I did like an S-skid round a car, and it was pissing it down with rain. And if I went straight into it, God knows, I probably might put me into a wheelchair, or because I would have just like hit it at 30 miles an hour, go down a slippery slope, and okay, thanks. So yeah, it was just in the last few seconds that I pulled out this amazing stunt. So yeah, there's things like that, or you have deja vu's coming at certain points. It hasn't always been helpful. It's actually left me completely stunned, because I thought, what? This is going to happen? What? And then it actually did happen to me, which wasn't a nice outcome. I think I was getting hit in the head, and I'd already seen this thing before, and getting caught up in a fight. And at the time I was about 12. So I've always had these experiences, and it's nothing really too amazing. I don't really have over too many at the moment. It's just really meaningful dreams and sort of some psychic experiences and stuff like that, and sort of things connecting with me. So it's not just me seeking them, they seek me. So it's kind of like this two-way door, and just following this path that I've been led on. So at the moment it's quite a dark one. But I think that's because there's changes ahead in whatever might come around the corner, and I've just got to really prepare for that. So it could be a war, could be, you know, something like that, something quite concerning. Just go with the flow. Anyway, this is Pixie signing off. Have a great one, and speak to you soon.